what I can't, I can prove proximity, okay? And when you hear how close this guy was, I mean, you'll go, yeah, it looks like he probably did it.
But wait a second. Daniel, you're telling me. Wait, Daniel, you're telling me that there was a bust of 20 tons. Where was this?
Well, surely you know all about this.
I've only heard a little bit about it.
You know what? I think God, in order to like give me something to have a few laughs about, made this happen. Okay, maybe to make up for the Barry Seal movie. Because it's just it's like a joke, right? And when you read, okay, so a container ship a month and 2 days ago pulls into the port of Philadelphia, and a multi-agency task force, including U.S. Customs, HSI, and God knows who else, boarded the ship and found 7 containers filled with cocaine. You with me so far?
Oh, yeah.
With 20 tons of cocaine. Now, I spent a few years in 25, 28 to 28, working on a drug move that ended before, where a DC-9 from St. Peter busted in Mexico with 5 tons of cocaine. So this is any time. This is how you. Okay, what it tells you is a couple things. What it tells you is there is no upper limit to the market for cocaine. At this point, the price hasn't dropped, quality hasn't gone down, and a simple fact that 20-ton bust just puts right in your face is that they can produce more cocaine than we can ever bust.
It's an obscene amount of coke, yeah.
Okay, I mean they could easily produce 5 times as much as they. I mean, whoever lost this 20 tons just slapped his hands together and you know, ordered a beer and said next, because 20 tons of cocaine is less than 0.5% of the cocaine that's consumed worldwide annually, according to the UN. So if the biggest, you know, and if you're in the drug business and 90% of your cocaine gets through, I mean, you know, you're buying tickets to the moon.
Well,
okay.
Daniel, let me ask you a question. Because I think I can solve this case. I think I can solve this because you got 20 tons. That's a big volume of product there, right? All we got to do is figure out who owns the ship. Was it traced back to Pablo Escobar or Carlos Later? Which one of the Colombian banditos owns the ship?
If you wanted to know, we're laughing, okay?
Yeah.
Because the simple fact is, and not just in the U.S., the simple fact is that in every country in the world in which there's a significant drug market, a market for illegal, illicit drugs, the people that control that market in that country are the same people that control the country. Okay? I mean, and so nobody ever thinks twice when they hear a story about some Guatemalan general, you know, that's got busted because he's been making, you know, Mayan slaves carry bundles of cocaine over the mountain. Okay, we all understand that foreign officials, but never any Americans. Dude, that's the biggest fake news in the world. Okay, is the idea the DEA will actually tell you we've called them. Okay, the reason there are no American drug lords is because we've made the penalties arrest. Okay? As if there are no American entrepreneurs. I mean, we're the best in the world at 95% of anything entrepreneurial. But apparently there aren't any Americans in the drug business. And then that's when you realize that it's all a lie. That the DA, that the war on drugs is a lie. I mean, if there was a campaign like they put it on the ballot, to legalize all drugs, who would put more money against the proposition to legalize drugs than anyone else?
The banks?
Drug lords.
Who?
Drug lords, because it's just like prohibition. When on the day prohibition started, a shot in a beer cost 6 times what it did the day before. And that's that's the long and short of it. And I want to tell you and your audience this because who cares otherwise? This is the biggest story in the world because this is the biggest slush fund in the world, right? Okay, if you and I, if you're running the Republican Party and I'm running the Democratic Party, and most of the drug traffickers are working for you, you're going to millions and millions to make sure none of my people get in office. Okay, if there's 2 guys involved in drug trafficking in a small city and they both own hardware stores, well, the guy that is in drug trafficking is going to get run out of business. So this is the root of all the corruption in this country, or most of it, because, and here's the other thing everybody needs to know, okay? This is where they make their money now. You take the mob, transnational organized crime, Russian mobsters, the American mafia, the Yakuza, the triads, okay? Worldwide, more than 50% of the money that is laundered from organized crime are the proceeds of drug sales. So that means on one side, you add up everything that mobsters make money from: extortion, bribery, human trafficking, sex trafficking. All of that, is not probably near as much at this point as the money they make from drug trafficking. So, and there's no way around it. Unless all drugs become legal, they're going to continue. I mean, it's like giving them a monopoly on being in charge. It's like these guys all have tickets that we don't have, right? They were all awarded stock at birth in a company that we're not allowed to invest in. And doesn't that just steam you? It does me.
I hear you, man. When you lay it out like that, it's a little bit more depressing than you think about when you're just thinking about this topic off the top of your head. We got to take a little commercial break. We're with Daniel Hopsicker. Check out his work on Amazon.com. His website is madcowprod.com. Check out Barry and the Boys, about Barry Seal and the Mena, Arkansas cocaine smuggling under Bill Clinton, by the way. And Welcome to Terrorland, Muhammad Atta and the 9/11 cover-up in Florida. We'll be right back with more Barry Seal. He's going to tell us about J.P. Morgan and they shipped down there in Philly with 20 tons, not 20 pounds, 20 tons.
Of cocaine, yeah.
That's like 400,000 pounds, or what is that? That's an insane amount. Anyway, we'll be right back after these messages with more of Daniel Hopsicker right after this.
It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. We're here with Daniel Hopsicker, author of Barry and the Boys and Welcome to Terrorland. His website is madcowprod.com. So, Daniel, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Hey, real quick, you mentioned Adnan Khashoggi and you mentioned Jeffrey Epstein. Did you see the other day where Vicky Ward mentioned that? Yeah, you saw that, right? She said that Epstein was working for Khashoggi, trying to locate.
It's all one thing, dude. Yeah. It is all one thing.
It is
all one thing. I mean, I've been on Adnan Khashoggi. Okay, you know who else I've been on for a long time? That's part of this.
Yeah.
Oleg Deripaska.
Right.
Oleg the oligarch, dude. And I'll tell you how I know that is, okay? So this 20 tons get busted, all right? And the first thing the U.S. Attorney says is that is ridiculous. These things are like 20 stories high, okay? And what he said was at 2 points while the ship traveled from Chile to Philadelphia, a half dozen go fast boats came out with cocaine, and it was loaded onto the vessel while it was moving. And as soon as I read that, I don't know anything about cargo ships. I don't know anything about maritime anything. But as soon as I read that, I went, oh no, that's not true. And subsequent to that, I found out that anyone in the industry knows it's not true. They aren't saying anything about it. But it's a ridiculous assertion. So why would they be making it? Okay, the reason they'd be making it would be would be so you don't want to implicate who your partners are, where the drugs are coming from. I'm 98% sure is a port in Colombia called Buenaventura, which is still controlled, I believe, to this day by the former president of Colombia, Alvaro Uribe. So they wouldn't want just anyone to know that that's where all the drugs were coming from. So they made up this, and they're caught now between a rock and a hard. This guy, first of all, the U.S. attorney in Philadelphia is a doofus, but you have to feel for him because this will die down, but he has nowhere to go with this. Nowhere to go. There are three companies that could be responsible for this $1.5 billion worth of cocaine. In other words, there are three separate, major multinational companies that could go out of business because of this. One of them, and the one that has the least exposure, unfortunately, is J.P. Morgan Chase, the bank. Okay. Nobody likes them, but that's the way it is. But they bought it. It's just like with planes. Okay. Now, a little demonstration. You'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay. You and I could go into business tomorrow and make a lot of money running drugs. And I'll tell you how we do it. You go out and buy a Gulfstream 2, 3, 4, because you've got money, all right? And then you lease the plane to me. Or, even better, you sign the plane over to me as if I bought the plane, and then you hold the paperwork until I go down to pick up the drugs and come back. And if I come back and I'm not in chains, then you just tear up the paperwork. That's how it works, okay? They make it so that they get away with it. On a regular, Wally Hilliard, the guy that owned Huffman Aviation, tried to get away with it, and they were so upset with him. The DEA was, because he had to be CIA because only someone like him could have mocked the DEA. I mean, he's got 43 pounds of heroin, and DEA agents come to his office, and he raises his head to his office full of people, and he says, "Everybody, the DEA is here. Hide the cocaine." Huh. Okay, what kind of guy is able to do that? Somebody that's protected, somebody that's good friends with Jackson Stevens, who ran Arkansas when Clinton became president, and blah, blah, blah. So, the other two companies, one of them is owned, and this has been reported in European newspapers, that the second largest I found out was the second largest container ship owner in the world. The owner was a private